All right, today I'm going to be showing basic block chords, just the very fundamental idea of locked hand block chords. When people say block chords, they mean a number of different things. Usually they mean two-handed chords that are either have the same note an octave apart, so they're like, the same. In this case, I have C on the bottom and the top, or they're referring to the two octave, where I still have C at the top and the bottom. That's often what people mean. There are other definitions of block chords, but that's what I'm going to be showing you today. It's just how do you build a block chord, and to start with, you put the same note on the top and bottom. So it's going to be really a simple example would be like for the key of C. You just put C with your pinky in your left hand, and then C with your pinky in your right hand. So you start with your pinkies on C. You can do this either in the same octave, or you can do this an octave apart. At this point, you start to fill in notes in between. So I can put the third here, or I can put it an octave higher, perhaps, if I'm doing a two-octave block chord. And now say I want to put in the fifth, I can do it here, or I can do it here. Say I want to put in the sixth, I can put it there. So this is a block chord. I'm just kind of filling them in. I'll do it for one octave. And you can see all I'm really doing, the rule I'm following is I'm keeping the same note on the bottom and the top, and then I'm just filling in. Filling in with either the 2, 3, 5, and 6. So, if you fill in with the 4, it's going to sound a little weird, usually. If I go, that's great if I'm playing the 5th degree of a D minor 7 voice, the 7th degree, or as it were. But for C, I wouldn't do that. Okay, so now let's do the first kind of basic test. Pick a song you like, a song that's not too hard. I'll pick one that I haven't done this before with, so that I will struggle just as you struggle. And when I say, let's say pick an easy kind of song. Let me do like All of Me, say. Like I don't really want to do All the Things You Are right now, because I could probably figure it out, but I want to start with something a little easier. So let's do All of Me. So I'll just play through just the basic melody of the A section, just so we're familiar with it, and then we'll start doing it in block chords. Right, it goes la 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 ba da. Right, so So to do block chords, we're just going to start with just the first note. So the first note is, right, because the first phrase, it goes, da, da. So the first note is this. So starting with this first note, we're just going to do the block chord for that note. Say like that. And then we're going to do the next note. Do the block chord for that note. Say that. That's my block chord. And again, I'm just filling in chord tones in between the top and bottom notes. And then we'll do the third note. Because it goes ba, ba, da. Do the third note now. And again, fill it in. So we have, something like. Right? And we'll just keep going. you know, you can do interesting alterations too. Like I could go like, let's see. This whole into the B section, right? How's it go? And you know, if you're Bill Evans, you can do a whole solo. I mean, I'm not Bill Evans, but he'll do these whole block chord solos. And of course, the block chord does not strictly have to have the same note on the top and bottom. You know, oftentimes you'll hear, you know, or you'll hear it like that. Chord voicings where the top and the bottom note are the same, you know, like rootless D minor 9 voicing. Right? So there are definitely going to be cases where you're going to have, you know, and in fact, all this lesson is showing where the top note is the same. But when you hear someone like Bill Evans, who's really a master of block chords, or older, you know, Errol Garner, or some of these kind of older style players before Bill Evans, he really took block chords to a different level, doing block chord solos and so on. But if you look at the older block chord, you know, players too, yeah, there's a lot of fifths on top and root on the bottom, or fifth on the bottom and the root on top, or the third on the top and the fifth on the bottom. I mean, it's really just like shell voicings with two-handed shell voicings, really. Or sometimes with extensions also. So I mean, you can make, there's all different kinds of making block chords. I mean, if you get into the 60s, 70s, and later, you start to see block chords build out fourths, like, you know, these really kind of crazy, or, you know, people love that one. Those could technically be block chords. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily get called in block chord sound unless they, it depends, you know, what the definition of a block chord is a little bit up for debate. But, you know, definitely if you hear like these kind of classic, those are 1-octave block chords, and we have 2-octave block chords. You know what I mean? Like this kind of, say we're doing, that's not exactly a block chord. I mean, that was a little more just like playing some of the extensions and so on. But yeah, I mean, you can play with it. I would say that, you know, pick a song you like. I picked All of Me. Pick a song you like. Blue and Green, here's a great one. And then just take the note and just try the technique of just filling in chord tones. And really, I mean, you can even play it at tempo and just play the octave at first and then start filling in chord tones over time. For instance, in Blue and Green, right? can start like that and then kind of start filling it in. That's a cool one. I'll go two-handed. I accidentally got off there, and that would be a subject for a later lesson of actually doing voice-led two-handed chord voicings, and that's something that I'm not even really that good at. But you can see that, as you get used to doing locked hand and playing the kind of locked hand melodies, which I guess is just the first step. So as you get used to playing locked hand melodies, the next step is then you can start to do some kind of real-time movement up and down scales with a chord. Because this is all well and good when you're playing block chords for the head, but say you want to improvise just in the key of C. Say you want to move up and down the C major bebop scale, which would also be known as the C major 6 diminished, the Barry Harris major scale, and you want to do that, and you want to go, and you want to be able to play melodies in that. Well, you can try that with block chords simply by moving the voicings up and down the scale, So I'm not really an adept at it, but you can see how just by kind of using this rule of just trying to keep the locked hand style, the locked octave, and then thinking, what chord tones do I use to harmonize that? So I would say really the first step to block chords, pick a song you like, take the melody, and just start playing it locked hand. Start playing it as octaves, and then after you're comfortable doing that, and you feel like you've played it as octaves for a while. Just a moment. Yeah, after you've played it as an octave for a while, and you feel comfortable with that melody. And you start to fill in the chord tones, start filling in the thirds, the fifths, sometimes the sixths or sevenths. And you can also, especially over a dominant chord, you can try flat 9, try sharp 9, do some really interesting ones, I'm looking for an example of, you could even just do 2-5-1s. Like, I would honestly even just go. Make simple melodies, So what's cool about it is you can stay on the same note. Like, say I'm on a G, and you're playing over a 2-5-1 in C, and doing block chords. I'll start on the C. And then you go to the 2, and then the 5, and then the 1. So you can, or 2 minor 7 flat 5, and 5 altered. And then so you can kind of have fun like that too, like.